Practicing with Quel and how to ask questions starting with the word what. So if your question starts with the word what plus a subject pronoun, so je, tu, il, elle, on, nous, vous, il, or elle, then in order to ask that question you have to use qu'est-ce que. So the tricky part of this is that we have to think about what would it be followed by en français, not necessarily in English. Okay, so for example, if we look at that first sentence there, what are you doing? In English, what is followed by the word are, which is not a subject pronoun. However, remember en français, our present tense of a verb, are doing, is going to be one word. It has to come after the subject pronoun. So therefore, our next word after what in French would actually be you. We're literally going to say what you are doing. So therefore, we have to use qu'est-ce que. Qu'est-ce que tu fais? So for question number 1, write a question in French that would begin with qu'est-ce que and wasn't one of the examples on the last slide. If your question is what plus a verb, typically être, such as asking the question, what is your favorite food? Or if the question is what plus a noun that is not a subject pronoun. So for example, what restaurant are you going to? The word restaurant is not a subject pronoun. It's not je, tu, il, elle, on, nous, vous, il, or elle. In either one of these two cases, we're not going to use qu'est-ce que, but we're going to use one of our forms of quel to begin that sentence. So question number 2. Would you use qu'est-ce que or would you use quel to begin the following sentence in French? So if you wanted to ask someone en français, what kind of cheese is the best? Would you begin that question with qu'est-ce que or with quel? So there are 4 different forms of quel in order to match our normal number and gender considerations. So we have to worry about, is it masculine and feminine, or is it singular and plural? We're going to choose the form of quel that best matches the topic of the question. This is almost always the main noun that you're talking about. It may or may not be the subject of the sentence, but it's the topic of the conversation. So for example, if I wanted to ask, what is in your sandwich? Quel est dans ton sandwich? I'm going to choose the masculine singular form of quel because my question is about your sandwich, and the word sandwich is both masculine and singular, le sandwich. So, there are 4 forms of quel. The masculine singular quel, Q-U-E-L. To make it plural, just throw an S on the end, quel. The feminine singular, when we make this feminine, we have to double the L and add another E. This is really common for conjugatable words that end in an EL. And then our feminine plural will take the feminine singular and throw an S onto the end of that. All 4 forms are pronounced quel. So if I was going to read down this slide, I would read quel, 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 quel. We don't hear or say a difference, but we see it when we're reading and writing. So question number 3. What form of quel would you use for this question? If you wanted to ask, what tart is the most delicious? So, quelle tarte est la plus délicieuse? Which form of quel are you going to write? And then finally, question 4 and 5. Simple translation. How would you translate these questions into French? So question number 4, you're going to ask, what is his favorite pasta? And our word for favorite is préféré. And then question number 5, you're going to ask me, what are you having for lunch?